Oh, she's excited. um, so, before we begin, most of you were here last week. We'll have an option for restorative at the end of class. So, if you want to have a couple like pillows, couch cushions, something squishy nearby so that you don't have to travel away from your mat at the end, I am personally going to use two little pillows and then like a rolled up blanket. But if you don't have something like this, there's going to be options. So take a moment to explore. Roseanne, you're ready. Tammy, you're ready. You've got your prayer hands. You're like, let's get moving. Okay, so everybody who wants to do the music, are you set? Because we can take that away from the screen. Um, Everybody's got like it's like you're all scuba divers and you know like the secret lingo. Um, awesome. Well, welcome. I feel just so overjoyed. Make it a nice shot here. Okay. So overjoyed because I know and love every single one of you. So thank you for being here. Today's class is going to be really grounding and really soothing. And I want you to imagine like you're water. And so as you're moving, you're tuning into this sense of making things smoother and more fluid and just softer and heavier. And hopefully that will help each of us have the best experience possible today. So with that, if you're choosing to go the musical route, you can start track one on loop, which I'm not going to explain because it's so complicated. And we will start cross-legged. And for our sequence, I know sometimes space doesn't allow this, which is totally fine, but we are mostly going to face the long edge of the mat. So if you want to turn the mat, that's cool. But if it doesn't work, you just have to be a better listener. And I know most of you are pretty good listeners, so either way, it's going to be awesome. All right. And then sit at the center of your mat and close the eyes and just start to breathe. And maybe the breath feels like it's so close, it's right there. Hey Dana, so glad you could be here. Sometimes the breath is close. Sometimes it takes some digging, right? Like you have to take a deeper breath to feel it. Or you realize how chatty your mind has been all day because the breath feels far away. And that's okay. I guess I'm in a Dr. Seuss kind of mood. And so just use the next minute or so to give yourself the opportunity to feel the breath and to allow that sensation to draw you beneath the experience of the mind into this deeper inner space. As you breathe and your attention sinks in, sometimes you notice a place where you're holding tension. For me right now, I'm noticing the tops of my shoulders feel just a little tight. The neck, the shoulders, the jaw, the hips. See if you can pretend to bring the breath to those spaces. Just drawing awareness, drawing energy there, allowing that little bit of attention to help that place in the body feel supported. The more we support our bodies, the more we can release physical tension, mental tension, energetic tension. So in today's class, we're going to have the goal of feeling as supported as possible in every movement. And maybe that means you'll release more into the pose, but that's not the goal. The goal is to bring the support. Just take a couple more deep breaths to set that intention at the heart level, to really support yourself and allow yourself to be supported. And if the eyes are closed, you can gently flicker them open. Take one more breath to the heart. And then grab your right foot. And if that feels uncomfortable, because we're going to be here for a couple of minutes, lift the knee, do whatever it takes, lean a little bit, grab a cushion, so that you feel supported, right? This is our first opportunity. So let's try it. And we're going to start to wake up sensation in the right foot. So with your left hand, just glide the hand over the sole of the foot so lightly that it's almost like a tickle. Like you're just starting to feel the fingertips brushing over the skin of the foot. And as I give you some options here, the goal is not to give yourself a foot massage, though that is going to happen. The goal is to feel the sensations in your feet. And so as you run your fingertips over the padding of the foot, just feel the sensation of the skin. I'm noticing a lot of roughness in my heel. Just start to feel with the fingertips, but also feel with the sole of the foot. Both at once. And allowing yourself to feel here is actually going to help you support yourself later. There is a method to the madness, after all. So we've said hello. Now let's just start to gently squeeze each toe. And again, it's not about the squeezing, it's about the feeling as you squeeze. So sometimes a little less pressure or even closing the eyes can help force yourself to notice these subtler sensations. And then if possible to use both hands, that can be helpful as we start to squeeze the ball of the foot, the inside and the outside, continuing to feel. So vary the pressure. Notice the difference when you hit a bony area or a squishy area. And keep trying to feel. Imagine there's 10,000 little tiny buttons on your foot, and you're just turning each one on. But the only way to turn it on is to be aware as you press that spot. Make your way into the arch of the foot. Towards the heel. You can give the heel a few good squeezes. Visit the Achilles tendon at the back of the heel. And the ankle bone on the side. On both sides. Make some circles. And then just for good measure, say hello to your calf and give some squeezes there. And then gently cradle the foot and the knee and take some little tiny rocks, not forcing anything, just allowing the femur, the thigh bone, to rotate in the hip socket, or not. You know, maybe this feels like too much, and just lifting the leg is enough. And then ever so gently place the sole of the right foot off to the right slightly, and it might move, so give yourself that permission. Place the left hand over to the left and start to push down into the knee and the sole of the foot to just gently lift the hips. And bring your awareness to the sole of the right foot as you push down to lift, and then hips down, gently twist to the right. And we'll repeat that a couple of times. So pressing down into the legs to lengthen our spine over to the left, and then placing the hips down and gently twisting towards the top knee. And as you start to flow between these two postures, just bring your awareness to the sole of the foot, right? Don't worry about how high the hips lift or how much the spine arcs. Just try to feel the sole of the foot supporting you. Bringing that same awareness to the sole of the foot that you had as you were pushing all those 10,000 buttons. And the next time you twist, pause there, take a couple of breaths, tent the back fingertips so you can lengthen the spine a little bit more. And then flex the right foot and start to kick the heel out. Depending on whether you have carpet or wood floor, it's going to feel different, but bring the awareness to the heel. And then start to make some nice circles with the toes. And as you circle the toes, notice how the weight shifts around the heel, right? So your heel starts to get a massage, but we know it's not about massaging the heel, right? We know it's about feeling the sensation. So keep giving yourself permission to close the eyes so you can feel more. Go the opposite direction. And notice if the body wants to mirror the circling of the foot. And let it do that if it feels natural, right? Your body can start to circle as well. And then pause, lift both arms, and push down into the bent knee, push down into the heel, and just notice a sense of lengthening through the side bodies. Let the shoulders be soft, so if there's any tension in the top of the shoulders, lower the hands slightly and imagine just scooping the air up in front of you. Take a breath here, and then bend the right knee, but don't move the heel. So as you bend the knee, you might feel like a gripping or a sliding a little bit in that heel in the back line of the leg waking up. Let that start to drag you over to the right, and then kick into that heel and let that start to send you upright. And if you've done yoga with me before, you might already be really comfortable here, so feel free at any time in today's class, because we're going to be moving a little slower, to just go beyond me. I'm just the guide, but you're the pioneer. And so keep dragging the heel back to lengthen over the leg, and then kicking into the heel to come upright. So again, the foot is guiding the way, right? We're not even standing up, yet somehow the foot can still guide the way. It's telling us how to support our pelvis, how to support our spine and our shoulders. Next time you rise up, pause. And then release the hands in front of you just to give the shoulders a little break, and gently sway from side to side. Notice any sensation in the inner leg line of the right leg. If it ever feels like too much, tent the fingertips and back up so you're not going too intense into any stretch sensations. We're just warming up. There will be plenty of time later to get in some deeper hip openers. And then lift up once again, and just for fun, lift the feet, give the feet a little shake, and then see if you can use your core to switch the cross of the legs. So now the left leg's in front. Release the hands and just pause. Close the eyes and notice any sense of the right side of the body waking up. And it's okay if you don't notice anything. It's just about looking and being aware. And breathe. And then we'll repeat all of that on the second side. And so you can go at your own pace if you remember everything. Otherwise, I will guide you in the same way. So we'll start with the left foot. Just running the palm or fingertips of the right hand over the sole of the foot. Saying hello, waking it up, right? And actually being interested in how the fingertips feel. Imagine, we usually have eyes in our head that we see the world with. Imagine you've got thousands of eyes in your foot, right? And you're trying to see the world with those eyes. You're turning on these sense receptors in the foot. And they'll help us balance later. They'll help carry our weight. You're just waking up this sense of support and sensation. Then start to squeeze the toes, squeeze the ball of the foot, and then make any adjustments in the left hip socket. If you're feeling tightness there, accommodate yourself. Lift the foot a little bit more, or lift your hips a little bit more. Let the spine soften a little bit. You guys all look pretty mellow, so I think that means you're okay. And we will move, I promise. But I really wanted today's class to be very grounding and soothing and nourishing. So we'll try to carry this mentality into all of our movements, right? This sense of taking care of ourselves, supporting ourselves, not worrying about getting a six-pack or being really good at balancing, just letting ourselves feel really supported. Make your way to the heel, the back of the heel. Feel free as you hold the ankle to let the foot circle. And then eventually squeeze the ankle and the calf a little bit. Give yourself just a little cradle, just letting the hip relax and release slightly. And then plant the sole of the left foot off to the left side so the hips feel really nice and spacious. Right hand off to the right, and push into the left foot to gently start to lift the hips. Doesn't matter how high they go. You might notice a sense of the spine unfolding a little bit, the hip crease opening, and then twist to the left, long spine. Start to float between those two postures, allowing the front of that left hip to expand and lengthen as the hips lift, and then letting the spine gently release in the twisting posture. See if you can keep awareness in the sole of the left foot and let that guide how high the hips lift, how deep the spine twists, letting it all start from the foot. And the next time you twist, pause there, tent the back fingertips, take a breath, smile. And then flex the left foot, start to kick the left heel out so it slides along your floor. And then start to circle the left toes. It's actually great to have a bend in the knee here so that there's no rigidity. And it doesn't matter how dramatic this movement is, but it does matter that you can feel. Right? Sometimes we have to move a lot to feel, or sometimes moving less actually helps us feel more. Go the opposite direction and allow the body to move if it wants to. It might just naturally start to sway. Dana in the bottom corner is a great example. She is trusting her body to guide her into the sensation. Yeah, wow, you inspired everyone, Dana. And then kick into the heel to come up to center. Lift the arms and start to bend the left knee and notice the back of the left leg waking up, right? As you bend the knee, feel the heel drag back. It turns on the calf and the hamstrings and start to reach over the left leg. And then kick into the heel and let that start to send you back up. Bend knee, reach over, kick into heel to float back up. Great. Take a few more on your own. And remember, we're moving like water, right? Water flows. There's no beginning and end. So see if you can smooth out the edges of this posture so it's not rigid. You're just flowing forward and then back. The next time you come up, reach up, lift the legs, give the feet a little shake, and then cross the feet, right leg in front, turn to your left so that your right knee is facing your TV or computer or whatever, because then we'll all be on the same page. And again, take a breath. We'll start our official sequence now. And for those of you who were here last week, we've got a similar like structure, but it's going to feel totally different. We'll have some of our same transitions though. So just start to circle the ribs around the pelvis, trying to notice sensation in the lumbar vertebrae. Those are the bones of the spine between the rib cage and the pelvis. Go the opposite direction. And then sink back onto the sits bones. Hover the knees, grab behind the knees, and start to kick one leg at a time. And as you kick the leg into the hand, just notice a sense of the leg energizing, the arm energizing, the arm rooting into the shoulder, which is rooting into the back. And then remember that you're water, and so start to smooth this out. Allow the spine to sway, allow the legs to kick in different directions. And then pause with the knees hovering and set the heels down and start to kick the heels forward. Again, bring awareness to the back of the legs and just try to feel those muscles lengthening as the heels kick. Plant the fingertips at either side of the hips and push down into the fingertips to open the heart. Bend the knees, reach the heart beyond the toes, and then kick into the heels to allow the spine to stack. Just like we did a moment ago with one leg off to the side. So the heels drag to pull the heart forward, the legs kick so the spine can rise up. And your water, right? Water is strong. So it doesn't mean you're just like loosey-goosey all over the place, but it does mean that you're fluid and you're smooth and you're feeling every particle of the body, right? You're just one thing flowing. It's not about the hamstrings, it's not about the core, it's just about your body moving through space. The next time you rise up, plant the hands behind you, push down into the fingertips and let the heart lift, let the collarbones broaden, gaze up if it feels okay on the neck. And then lower one forearm at a time and do the same thing, but now with the elbows. Push down into the elbows to let the heart lift. And then slide the elbows forward, coming to recline on the back. Take a breath here. Drag the right heel back. We're doing that a lot in class today, aren't we? Each time we do that, try to feel the hamstring waking up. And then place the sole of the foot to the ground like a half bridge. But without lifting the hips, just push the foot down into the earth to feel that leg energize. Don't worry about lifting the hips. Just feel the muscles in the leg wake up. And then circle the arms overhead, interlace the hands, roll up to the right of the leg, and then extend arms overhead, roll up to the left side of the leg. So a little core exercise here. And then we'll roll up to the middle, but let the knee squeeze in, wrap around the knee, pause there for a moment. And then lengthen hand and foot apart so you're in Shavasana with arms stretched overhead. We'll do the left side. So left heel drags in. Root the sole of the left foot. Push down into that foot. And just feel the muscles in the leg and hip socket awaken. Interlace the hands opposite way. Roll up to the left side of the leg and extend. Roll up to the right side of the leg and extend. And then roll to the center. Lift the knee. This time squeeze knee to chest. And then extend hands and foot apart. And this time we'll do it with both at the same time. So drag the heels in. Plant the soles of the feet. Push into the feet. Notice the legs energize. Notice the pelvis energize. And then if you'd like to, you can actually start to lift the hips away. Release the hips down. Let's do that again, but this time as the hips lift, let the hands start to push down by either side of the hips. And then as hips come down, lift the arms overhead. Do that a couple times. So as hips lift, hands sweep down. As hips lower, hands sweep up. I think that's good for your brain. Good job. You guys got it. The next time the hips lift, pause there for a moment and just lower the hips a little. Sometimes we get too excited and we want to max out there. Let the pelvis and spine be buoyant. Let it sway from side to side. And then release one vertebra at a time down. Hug the knees into the chest, lift chin to knees, and then roll away from me. So you're on your side, facing away from me. Point the hands forward. Start to draw a rainbow over your body with the right hand. Feel the chest open, and then let the right knee follow so there's no strain in the spine. And then you'll naturally start to roll all the way onto the right side. And we'll reverse that. So now, left hand rainbows over you. Left hip follows. And then the right hip follows. And then finally the right hand. Let's do this a few times so you guys can get the hang of it. But the idea is that we're not going into too deep of a twist. You're just letting the body naturally flow and follow your momentum. Great. You guys are really good at this one. The next time you roll to the right, start to extend the top leg, the left leg, and let that pull you up. So we're in that position we were in earlier. Parvrita Jana Shirshasana with the left leg extended, the right heel in. Now that you're sitting up, if that was new to anyone, I want you guys to just see it. So we roll, we extend the top leg, and it's sort of magic. We're just like, ta-da. Feel free to say ta-da to yourself. Like it helps. Yeah, thank you. So here we are again. Take a moment to circle the foot just like we did when we were here before. Let the body follow. And let the head be an extension of the spine. So you don't actually have to think about it or make it do anything, but it's just letting the body naturally move in this fluid way, all generated by the circling of the foot. Go the opposite direction. And then lift the hands up. Bend the left knee, reach over the left leg, kick into the left heel, rise up. Plant the right hand to the side. You can just stretch the left side of the body, or you can lift the hips. It's totally up to you. And then we'll repeat that a couple of times, reaching over the leg and then riding the momentum up. And we'll be repeating this a lot of times in class. So take it easy the first few rounds. You know, really check in with the support in the shoulder, the wrist. The next time you lower down, lift the hands. And then lift the feet and bring the soles of the feet together. But yeah, this is just sort of funny. So I just want to look at each of you. Good job. Oh, Dave's clapping. Yeah, feel free to clap. I love it. That's awesome. Bring the feet down. Bring the hands down either side of the hips for some support. And then close the eyes and just notice where you feel this. And then for me, I usually feel it in my groin and the top of my legs. So try to notice the other half too. So I'm bringing awareness to the outside of my legs. If you feel it somewhere different, try to feel the opposite side. So there's this sense of equal balance. Baddha Konasana, sit up nice and tall. And then plant the hands behind you, plant the soles of the feet, and let the front of the body open. And it doesn't have to be a lot. hips down, soles of the feet together, just gentle bow. Again, we're going to repeat this many times. So this time we're just like learning the movement. And then reverse table. And then hips down, cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and just start to massage the outside of the right hip. If you were here last week, you know where we're going, but I'm going to demo because there are some new faces. So eventually, watch this first though, the sole of the right foot is going to come down. We're going to face the short edge of our mat, plant our hand, and power into that foot to lift the back leg. And then that foot's going to come down, and miraculously, we're going to be standing. It's really fun, and it's accessible. Tammy, you just went for it. That's awesome. You know it from last week, though. So when you feel ready, and take it really slow, let the right foot start to drop over to the left. Feel the contact with the sole of that foot and turn to face it. Yeah, you guys naturally did it. Push into the right foot, let your body face the side even more, and then keep pushing to let that left leg unfold. Yes. Lower the left leg. Place the foot under the hip. Bend both knees generously. Let the head release. And then start to push down into the feet. Press the hips forward, and notice how the spine just naturally stacks when you do that. Push down into the feet. Press the hips forward. And then imagine the arms are an extension of the vertebrae stacking, and the joints of the arms just stack above that. Nice. Let's try that again. So before we do that, just bring your awareness to your hip and your feet. Try walking the feet a little wider. Let the toes turn out a little bit so the hips feel really supported. There's no tension in the ankles, knees, or hips. When you found that spot, bend the knees. Let the spine start to drip forward. And notice how when the spine drips forward, the hips can just effortlessly start to lift towards the sky. And then we reverse it. So press into the feet, press hips forward, spine stacks, arms stack. And do this a couple of times, remembering that you're water. And it's sort of true, right? We're mostly water anyway. But feeling the sense of flowing and everything following from the feet all the way up. And the next time we lift up, we'll pause there. Shift the weight into the left foot. And start to hover the right knee. Bring the elbows towards the knee like we did when we rolled up on our back. And then start to reach the hands forward and reach the foot back, just like a baby Virabhadrasana 3. Let the toes come to the earth behind you, high lunge, and draw a big circle with the arms overhead. And then reach forward, shift the weight into the front foot, and slowly let the sole of the right foot come to the calf or the upper thigh, whatever's comfortable. Lower the elbows to like a goal post. And just take a breath in Vrikshasana, tree pose. Let the soles of both feet press, one down into the earth, one into the thigh. Feel that as like an anchor supporting you in the spine, lengthening up. And then we'll repeat that sequence. So the right knee points forward and the hands reach up. Hug. Actually, let's put the foot down and put the arms down. Let's take a break and pause. Just breathe for a moment. And then reach the arms up. Shift the weight into the left foot. Lift right knee and pull the elbows down. And then start to tip forward, reaching the hands forward and the foot back. Any amount. It doesn't have to be far. And then the toes drop behind you. Draw your big circle. And then shift the weight into the front foot. Power down into the front foot. Let the right foot find its balance point and open the arms to cactus. Take a breath. And then foot down, arms down, pause. Close the eyes and notice any sense of stability in the feet and the pelvis. And sometimes we naturally put our feet really close together because we've heard that a million times. Give yourself permission to adjust your feet each time we land back into Tadasana so that you can feel so supported. And for me, my toes are pointing out a little bit. My feet are pretty wide, so support doesn't have to look a certain way. Shift the weight into the left foot, reach the arms high, and then lift right knee, hug the elbows in. Start to tip forward, reach hands and foot apart, Virabhadrasana 3. Drop the back toes, draw your big circle. This time we'll pause here, take a breath, and we'll turn to face the long edge of the mat. Bend into the right knee and start to reach in line with the right toes. And just notice any sensation in the left leg and make sure it's not too intense. And then come back to center, bend both knees, release the hands, and lower the right knee underneath the right hip. Let the left toes turn out just a little bit, and then push down into the right knee to come up to what I like to call proposal stance. Take a moment here. Yeah, feel free to propose to someone. Thank you. Oh, I feel so special right now. And bring your awareness to the left foot, right? Try to bring equal weight into the 3 points of the foot. So the heel and the inside and outside of the ball of the foot. And then reach the arms up. And start to bend into the left knee just a little bit. But feel the foot anchoring. And notice as when the knee bends, how the spine just naturally wants to follow. And then kick into the foot and come back up. This is a modified Parigasana. When you come back up, walk the foot out just for fun. See if you want a little space, more space in the pelvis. And then let the movement start to become a little more fluid. And always feel free to adjust where that bottom foot is, right? This is all about being supported. And try to trace the pathway from the left heel all the way up to the left sit bone. Just try to notice any sense of support there, letting the hamstrings support the back of the pelvis. The next time we sway to the left, pause there for a moment, breathe into any sensations in the pelvis. Don't worry, the arms are going to get a break. Kick into the left foot, let the right arm drop, let the left leg lengthen, and allow the whole left side of the body to melt. So the left arm can reach long. Breathe into that space. Okay, and we're going to do something here, so get ready for it. Turn to face the opposite edge of the mat. Lift the left toes so that the knee can point towards that same edge. And we're in a modified plank pose with the bottom knee down. Just pause for a moment here. Tuck the back toes. Kick into that back ankle a couple times, lengthening the calf. And then push into the hands and let the front knee hover. Give the knee a little kiss. And then set that front knee down. Bring the right hip down. And draw the left leg all the way around so you're in a cross-legged position at the opposite end of the mat. All right. And just pause for a moment. So believe it or not, that was side one. So we're going to repeat that whole thing on the second side. And even though it's a new side, so many of the movements your body knows. So just try to trust what you learned on that first side. We'll actually take a moment in silence to let all of it sink in. Let the body learn. And so we'll repeat this. And then we'll be ready for our next track, because I know some of you guys are probably dying to hit next. One more breath here. And then we circle with the rib cage. And go the other direction. Float back onto the sits bones, hover the knees, grab behind the knees, and kick the legs. Let that start to energize your core. Kick legs in every direction. Imagine you're a ball of energy and you're trying to spread out as much as possible. So you want the feet to press out your bubble of energy in every direction. I got to work on that one, sorry. And then set the heels down. Start to kick the heels forward, energizing the back of the legs. Sit up nice and tall, fingertips to either side of the hips. And just pause in Dandasana. Flex the feet a little bit. Breathe through the spine. And then bend the knees, let the heels drag back, and let that pull the spine forward. And then kick into the heels, riding the wave back up. Take a few of these waving Paschimottanasana. And remember, the movement starts at the heels. And everything else follows if you let it. If your brain gets out of the way. Mom, you're making really cool trails. It's amazing. I don't know if everyone else can see that, but... And the next time you ride the wave up, let the elbows come behind you. Plant the hands and just push down into the elbows, lifting the heart. Fish pose. Take a breath. And then slowly recline onto the back and just pause. Just be okay being still. Breathe. Now, drag the left heel in. Press into the sole of the left foot. Reach the arms overhead. Roll up to the left. Reach arms overhead. Roll up to the right. Reach arms overhead. Roll up. Hug the knee in. And then extend foot and hands apart. Same thing, right side. Drag right heel in. Press into the sole of the right foot. Roll up to the right. Roll up to the left. Roll up to center. Hug the knees in. And extend everything long. And now drag both heels. From here on out, we'll just go straight into the both. So remember this one. Plant the soles of the feet. Start to lift the hips and push the hands down beside the hips. And then hips down, hands up. Take a few pulses there. Feel free to adjust the feet at any point so that the knees and pelvis feel more supported. So sometimes as soon as you put the hips down, there's this natural direction of where the feet want to be. Try to let that happen. The next time the hips are up, pause for a moment and Sekta Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. Breathe into the heart. And then slowly release one vertebra down at a time. Reach arms overhead. Roll up to the left side of the legs. Roll up to the right side of the legs. And then roll up to the center. Hug the knees into the chest, Apanasana. And roll away from me so you're resting on your right side. Rainbow left arm overhead. Let that drag the knee. And roll all the way to the left and then reverse. And at any point you can start to play with extending the legs if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good yet, wait till later in class. Maybe you'll feel warmer. And the next time you roll towards me, top leg definitely extends and start to roll all the way up, opening off to the side. Parvrita Jana Shirshasana. Ta-da! Yay, you did it. Good job. Right toes circle and let the body follow. And then go the opposite direction. And then lift the arms, bend the right knee, start to reach over the right leg, and then kick into the right heel, left hand plants, reach long through right side, or lift hips, and still reach long. And repeat. So bend the knee, reach over, kick the heel, reach the other way. And try to start to feel that momentum, right? So it's not the brain telling you which direction for the body to reach, but you're actually starting to feel like, my body wants to do this. I just need to get out of the way. And the next time you reach over the leg, pause there, take a breath, and then slowly kick into the heel, rise up, sit back on the sits bones, place the soles of the feet together. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you, Dave, for this invention. And then lower the feet, hands beside the hips. Pause for a moment, Baddha Konasana. Breathe into the heart. Allow the shoulder blades to slide down the back so there's more space in the front of the body. And then wave the spine forward. Press into the feet. Let the legs energize to wave up. Plant the hands behind you, soles of the feet wide, and let the hips lift any amount. And then repeat. So soles of the feet together, wave forward. Press the legs together to wave up, and then plant the feet to lift the hips. One more time. And after you lift the hips the next time, cross left leg over right. Start to massage the hips. Bend the elbows. Check in with the wrists. Make sure the hands and shoulders are supple. And then when you're ready, the sole of the left foot will plant to the right. Press into the sole of the foot, letting the body unfold facing the short edge of the mat. And then right foot down. Bend the knees deeply, head hangs. Sway the hips from side to side. And then start to press into the feet. Push hips forward, let spine stack, and then let the arms stack, just like an extension of that. Give yourself permission to adjust the feet, find more space, and then repeat. Bend knees, melt down, push into feet, reverse, melt. Do that a couple more times, moving as slowly as you need to feel fluid, to feel the consciousness of every movement. You're not doing it because I'm telling you to, or maybe you are. You're doing it so you can feel your body. You can feel consciousness flowing through each movement. Only you know if you're doing that. Next time you come up, pause. Shift the weight into the right foot. Start to squeeze elbows down and lift the left knee. And then reach the hands forward. Let the left foot extend. Toes come down. High lunge. Draw a big circle with the arms. And then shift the weight into the front foot. Find a drishti, a steady gaze point. Power into the right foot to lift the left foot to the calf or inner thigh, vrikshasana. Let the shoulders melt and elbows drop. And then foot down, hands down, pause. Breathe. And then we'll repeat that exact same sequence each time. Shift the weight into the right foot, lift the arms, left knee up, elbows down, reach forward, extend the leg, toes down, push into the toes to open the front of the body and let the arms just follow. And then shift the weight into the front foot, power down into the front foot, back foot comes forward, elbows down, vrikshasana. Left foot down, hands down, pause. Let the feet adjust. Close the eyes and just notice any support rising up from the earth through the feet. Shift the weight into the right foot, arms up, last one. Left knee up, elbows down. Reach forward, extend the leg. Toes down, big circle. And this time we pause in our high lunge. Take a breath into the front of the left hip. Notice what pushing into the left toes does for the front of the hip. And let the spine extend a little more if you feel that possibility. And then turn the toes towards me. Bend into the left knee and reach in line with the left toes. Right? So in front of the left toes. Breathe into the right leg. Play with bringing equal weight into right and left feet. And just notice how that changes this posture. And then press into the feet, reach up. Bend the knees, melt down. Shift weight from right to left. Let the hips sway. And then release the left knee down underneath the left hip. Turn the right toes out. Press down into the knee and the foot. Lift the arms, modified Parigasana, and adjust the right foot as you need to for that right sit bone to feel nice and supported. Bend the right knee, bring the sit bone towards the heel. and then push into the foot to rise up. Bend knee, let the spine follow, arms follow that, and then push back up. And just take a few of these gentle waves, not trying to go far, but just trying to feel this connection between the support of the earth, rising up to meet the foot, letting that support your knee, and everything follow from that bending of the knee. The next time the knee bends, pause, right hand down, breathe into the left side of the body. If it feels good, you can shine the heart further open, but only if that serves you and it doesn't build tension. And then press into the feet, reach up, let the left hand come to the other side and extend through the right toes and the right arm. Breathe through the whole right side of the body. And then let the right hand drop, turn to face the short edge of the mat, and let the bottom knee pivot. So everything squares downward. Pause in plank. Push into the back calf a couple of times. So let the heel press back just to stretch that calf. You can walk the hands out to make sure the shoulders feel nice and supported and that there's no pressure on the wrists. Bring a little extra weight to the outside of the wrists. And then bring the left knee forward. And I totally was like, what did we do here? Give me a sec. How did we? Oh, I know. I figured it out. Okay. We did a crunch. So lift the left knee, give it a kiss. You have to kiss both knees. Good thing I didn't forget. That left knee would have felt so sad. Bring the left knee down and then bring the left hip down. And then draw the right leg all the way around. You can help it, right? Sometimes that can be too much for the hip muscles. And then we sit cross-legged facing the other side of the mat and just pause and breathe. Close the eyes. So we will repeat that sequence again, and we'll move a lot faster through the things we've already done, and then we'll add on to that standing sequence at the end because you guys are warmer now. If you are playing music, now is the time to go to the next track. So, what is going on? Oh, cool. Sorry. So this one we are playing now sleepless, not weightless, just to make it extra confusing. Okay, and we'll meet cross-legged, the right leg in front. Take a sip of water if you need it. So start with those rib circles. Trying to move as fluidly as possible. If you overstretch, you can't move very fluidly, right? So this keeps you honest. Come back to center, rock back on the sits bones. This time, hands free. Start to kick one foot and reach one arm at a time, as if you're falling through space and the limbs are moving kind of erratically to challenge the core as you rock in all these different directions. And then extend the heels forward. If you're off your mat, you can scooch back on so the heels make it. And just pause in Dandasana without moving the legs. Drag the heels back to sit a little taller. Take a breath, and then we start to move. So bend the knees, wave the spine forward, kick into the heels to rise up. This time you can add the arms into it. The arms just follow the spine. And if that ever feels complicated, just let the hands rest beside the legs. Move as slowly as you need to for this movement to be smooth. The next time you rise up, plant the hands behind you and let the heart lift. Repeat, bend the knees, wave forward, kick into the heels, plant the hands, lift the heart. The next wave up, if you want, you can let the hips lift a little, but you don't need to do that. If that felt really good, feel free to play with that one more time, letting the momentum of the wave lift the hips into reverse plank. And then set the hips down, set the elbows down, and push down into the elbows to let the front of the spine unfurl. Gaze up, and then press the fingertips forward, sliding all the way down onto your back, and just pause. Take a breath. And then drag both heels in, feeling the back of the legs do the work. Plant the soles of the feet, and slowly lift the hips. As the hips lower, let the arms reach overhead, and then repeat. So hands down, hips up, hips down, hands up. Take a couple of pulses or hold. If the back bend's feeling really good and you want to stay there, that's totally fine, as long as there's no gripping or tension in the pelvis. Then release the hips down. Interlace the hands overhead, roll up to the right side of the legs. Hands overhead, roll up to the left side of the legs. Hands overhead, roll up to the center, hug the knees in, and then roll to the left side. Rainbow the right arm overhead, slowly roll to the right. Option to extend the legs if that feels good. And then we roll back. The next time you roll onto your right, definitely extend the left leg. Let that pull you all the way up, Parvritajana Shirshasana. Circle to the left and notice how the momentum just wants to naturally take you there. And then bend the knee, lift the arms, and start to wave over the left leg. Kick into the left heel. Option for flash dance if the shoulder enjoys that. And just take one more. Next time hips lift, feel free to circle that top arm back just to get a little more extension in the spine. And then set the hips down, reach up, bring the soles of the feet together, and bring the hands to the outside of the knees. Press the knees into the hands and just notice the muscles turning on to do that. And then bring the hands to the inside of the knees and squeeze the knees into the hand and just notice how that changes. One more time each side. And then try to do it less intensely. So it's like just saying hello, but no strain. Those muscles wake up, but they're still chill. And then bring the feet down. Pause in Baddha Konasana. And then wave the spine forward. Press into the feet. Notice how that engages the legs to wave you up. Plant hands, plant soles of the feet. Lift the hips. One more. Baddha Konasana. Wave forward. And then reverse table. Take a breath. Let the head lengthen back as the hips lift up. And then hips down. Right ankle over the left thigh. Massage for as long as you want to massage. And then make that transition. Sole of the right foot. Let that give you power to unfold. Head down, foot up, facing the short edge. And then left foot down. Bend the knees generously. Let the spine drip forward. Nice. Press down into the feet. Press the hips forward. Stack the spine. Stack the arm. Shift the weight into the left foot. Elbows down, knee up. Reach forward. Virabhadrasana 3. Let the toes drop. And draw your big circle. And this time we're going to add on from here. So reach the hands forward like a zombie. And then start to reach the right arm off to the side like you're serving a platter to someone. But let the hips stay closed. So just the spine opens. And feel that little bit of tension between the hips rooting and the spine opening. And then close the hands. And then serve another platter. You guys are great servers. And take a couple of those, just noticing that sensation of the pelvis staying anchored and the spine twisting open. The next time the spine twists open, let the right heel start to drop down, but resist the temptation of opening the hips a lot. right? That's why we're practicing. Yeah, good. And so the right heel drops, modified Virabhadrasana 2. And we'll do a little experiment here. Bring the hands behind the head and start to reach long over the bent knee. Notice where the weight is in your feet. See if you can equalize the weight in both feet. And how does that change the support in the spine? Yeah, I see like most of you rising up. So just feel that equal support as you push a little more into that right foot. And then turn all 10 toes towards me. Bend the right knee. Same thing. So start to reach over those right toes, but bring equal weight into both feet. And then press into the right foot, rising up to center. And now, same thing, as we fold forward in Prasarita Padottanasana, bring equal weight into the front and the back of the foot. And then press into the feet to rise up, and we'll repeat that. So turn the toes to the left, back to the beginning. An option to keep your hands here or reach them overhead. This is a little gentler on the shoulders, so whatever your shoulders are asking for. Bend left knee, start to reach over the left leg, equal weight in the feet. Don't worry about going as far, but feel that stability. Turn all 10 toes towards me. Bend the right knee, reaching beyond the right toes, equal weight. Notice how that changes things. Straighten the right leg, reach up. And now bend the knees and melt forward, equal weight in the heels and the ball of the foot. Last round, rise up, turn the toes to the left, bend the left knee, reach beyond the left foot. And then turn the toes to the right, bend the right knee, reach beyond the right foot. And then press into the right leg, reach up, let the spine lengthen. And then bend the knees, melt forward, but keep equal weight in the front and back of the feet. Press into the feet to rise up. This time, turn the toes out. And let the hips start to drop. Let's give our arms a little break. As the hips drop, sway the hips from side to side, making sure nothing's too rigid here. Sometimes we go a little too far. This is called horse stance. So imagine you're like actually on a horse and you would really have to pay attention, right? The legs would be really strong. You'd be sitting upright. So try to keep that mobility and fluidity in the legs. And then bring the left hand to the thigh and reach up and over the left side. Let the right sit bone drop as you reach up and over, and notice if that helps you open the right side. And then reach up with both arms and then flip sides. And then at your own pace, just go from side to side. And the next time you're to the left, you can play with lifting the left heel. And just notice if you like that or not. And if you don't like it, don't do it. And then go the other way. And then come back to center, all 10 toes forward. Let the spine melt forward, Prasarita Padottanasana. And then drop just the right knee. Turn the left toes out, push down to rise up. And just one Parigasana here. So bend the left knee, left hand to thigh, reach long, just letting that right hip really open. And breathe into it. And then reach up and over to the other side and let the whole left side of the body extend. This time, you can stay chill with the left foot down, or if you want to lift the left leg, you can. If you want a little bit more here, play with bending the left knee and reaching back for the left foot. If that feels like too much, don't do it, but sometimes when you're feeling really open, that can feel nice. And then let everything go. Let the left shoulder drop so you turn your whole body to face the short edge of the mat in that supported plank. Left toes to the floor. Lift the right knee, give it a kiss. We didn't forget you this time. And then bring the right knee forward a lot, setting up for linear pigeon. So let the right shin be right under the right thigh so it's not a steep angle. And then drop the left knee. We don't want to externally rotate the right thigh too much. So that's why the left heel is in a little closer to the groin than you might be used to. Just sway the hips from side to side. And then come to center. Bend the elbows, melt the spine forward. And then push into the hands, allowing the spine to unfurl. Walk the hands in and lift the heart. And then repeat. Bend elbows, melt forward. Push into hands, extending the spine. Bend elbows, melt forward, push into hands, extending spine. Option at the top to bend the back knee only if that feels good in the left quadricep. Again, it's not for everyone. If it makes your back feel compressed, don't do it. Release the leg, bend the elbows, and then sink the weight over to the right and slide the left foot in a big circle around you. And sit cross-legged now at the other edge of the mat and just pause. Just come back to the breath. And we'll repeat that whole sequence one last time on the second side. So no surprises, you know what to expect. So see if you can just sink into this sense of trusting the wisdom of your body to take you through the second side even more fluidly. It knows the way. And we start by circling the rib cage and then go the opposite direction. Come back to center, reach the arms up and float the legs. Let yourself fall through space. Emphasis on fall. If you actually fall here, it means you're doing a great job because you're actually pushing out of your comfort zone. Try to find a space where your core cannot hold you. That is the point of this exercise. Lean to the left, lean to the right, lean down a little bit. Oh man. And then come back. Extend the legs, fingertips to the side. Pause in Dandasana. Flex the feet. Feel the heels making contact with the earth. Take a breath. Bend knees, wave the spine forward, kick into the heels, ride the momentum to a back bend or to reverse plank. And then hips down, bend knees, wave forward. You don't ever have to repeat something. If you find a really nice place to work, you can pause there and breathe or keep moving. We're all a little different. So you have to pay attention because only you know. And then set the hips down, recline on the elbows. This is our last one, so we'll spend an extra moment here. Grip the fingertips into the mat, traction the elbows backward, and take a few deep breaths into the heart center. You can tuck the chin or gaze up if it's okay on the neck. Play with lifting one foot at a time. And then slowly recline onto the back, stretching the arms out, letting the shoulders slide down, and just pause. Take a breath. Feel your connection to the earth. You're just this fluid water, ever flowing, ever moving, but still in harmony with the earth. Drag the heels back. Plant the feet. Push down into the hands, let the hips lift. This time you have the option to walk the shoulder blades together, interlace the hands, and reach the knuckles towards the heels. But just make sure there's no gripping in the hip flexors or the glutes. Sway the hips a couple of times. Keep breathing. Nice. Release the hands. Release one vertebra at a time so you feel all that control along the spine. Interlace hands overhead, roll up to the left. Recline, roll up to the right. Recline, roll up to the center, hug the knees into the chest, and then rock to the right. Pause. Breathe into the back of the heart. And then left arm rainbows over you. Left leg follows. Option to extend the legs if they feel supported. and then go back. And the next time you roll to the left, let the right leg pull you up, Parvrata Jana Shirshasana, and just go right into the circling. And then pause at the center, lift the hands, bend the right knee, reach over the right leg, kick into the heel, ride the momentum to the left, option to lift the hips or not. Hips down, do it one more time. Second one, draw a big circle with the right arm if it serves you. And then hips down, hands up, feet up, soles of the feet together. Give yourself a round of applause. You're almost done. Yay. And then feet down, hands down. Pause for a moment in Baddha Konasana. Wave the spine forward. Squeeze the feet together to come back up. Hands behind you, soles of the feet down. Lift the hips. Place the hips down. And option to just hold Baddha Konasana or repeat. So do what serves you. And then we'll all meet with the soles of the feet down, and then cross your left ankle over your right and start to massage your hips. Even though we're focusing on the hips, make sure you're aware of your shoulders and the hands and that they feel supple, like little springs behind you supporting you, not rigid. When you're ready, drop the left foot over to the right, turn to face it, power into the left foot, unfold the right leg, and then right leg down, bend the knee, melt, press into the feet, roll up, hands follow, shift the weight into the right foot, left knee up, elbows down, reach forward, kick the foot back, toes down, big circle, and then reach forward. Keep the hips forward, but serve a platter with your left hand towards all of us. And then close the hands. Do this a couple of times, letting the hips stay where they are and just feel the spine twisting open to the side. The next time you serve your platter to the left, let the left heel come down, but try to prevent the hips from opening a whole lot. This is just better for your SI joint. Virabhadrasana 2, interlace the hands behind the head. Bend into the right knee and reach the spine over the right knee. And then bring equal weight into both feet. And feel free to spread the feet a little further apart, especially as you push into them evenly. You might get a sense of being able to open the hips a little more. And then press into the right leg, turn the toes to the side, and then bend into the left knee, modified skandasana. So you're reaching the heart beyond the left toes. And then press into the left foot, coming to center. Bend the knees, lift the hips, and let that spill your spine forward, equal weight in the balls of the feet and the heels. And then press into the feet, rising all the way up. Turn the toes to the right, back to Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your hands here or lift them overhead like you're holding, I don't want to say a medicine ball, something a lot more fun than a medicine ball, a watermelon. Bend the right knee, reach over the right leg, equal weight in the feet. Press into the right leg, coming back up, turn all 10 toes to the side. Bend the left knee and reach beyond the left toes, but keep some weight in the right foot and notice how that helps your core. And then press into the left foot, rise up. And then bend the knees and let the hips lift, melting to the center. Press into both feet, rising up. And we'll do that one more time. So turn the toes to Virabhadrasana 2, facing the right. Bend the right knee, reach beyond the right toes. Press back up. Turn the toes to the side, bend the left knee, reach beyond the left toes, skandasana, equal weight in the feet. Notice what changes. Press into the feet, rise up, and then bend knees, lift hips, spill forward, prasarta padottanasana. Pause, breathe. You can sway the hips a little bit. And then press into the feet to rise up, heels in, toes out, and then bend the knees a lot and sway the hips, and as you sway the hips, give the feet permission to walk out or in any amount. The hands can sway or they can be on the thighs, it really doesn't matter. Bring your awareness to the soles of the feet and just try to feel equal weight on the outside, the inside, the heel, the ball of the foot. And then we sway. So right hand to thigh, reach up and over to the right, drop the left sit bone just a little bit. Option to come onto the ball of the right foot. And then switch. And then one more time each side, moving as fluidly as possible. Don't worry about how deep you go. And then reach up with both hands, turn all 10 toes forward, straighten the legs, and release down. Drop the left knee, push down into the left knee, let the right toes turn out to the side, slowly rising up, reach the arms up, and then just one Parigasana, bend the right knee, reach over the right leg, lengthen, take a breath, stay here. Oh, actually, we're all staying here. And then push into the right foot and slowly rise up and all the way over to the other side. Plant the hand and then reach the whole right side long. Point the right toes. Let the right side open. You can even press the hand behind you a little bit to let the chest open. So now is when I meant to say it. You can stay here, or you can lift the right leg, or you can bend the right knee and reach back for the toes to open the heart, as long as there's no compression in the spine when you do that. If you're doing that, try kicking the foot into the hand and see if that helps you open across the chest. Gaze forward and slightly up. Breathe and then release it all. Let the right hand drop and turn to face the other edge of the mat and let the knee follow so it's pointed in the right direction. Press into the hands, give your left knee a kiss. And then bring the left knee towards the left wrist and swivel the shin ever so slightly. So maybe just like 5 degrees, but not like how deep we normally do it. And then start to press the hips back. Drop the back knee, flatten the top of the back foot, walk the hands in. Modified pigeon, Ekapada Kapotasana, sway the hips from side to side. And then bend the elbows, melt the spine forward. Can always stay there. Push into the hands, ripple the spine up. When you get to the top, you can tent the fingertips. Option to bend the back knee. And then lengthen the leg, bend elbows, release down. Then just take a few waves here. And if you get a sense that one of these is really serving you, feel free to hold it and breathe. Otherwise, keep moving like water, flowing through the 2 beneficial postures. Make sure you're not building any tension in the arms. You can always walk them forward a little bit more if that feels kinder on the elbows and shoulders. And then release the back leg, shift the weight into the left hip, and draw a big circle with the right leg. Coming to cross-legged, facing the short edge of the mat, and just pause and breathe. Notice any sense of inner fluidity. You're no longer moving, but maybe you can still feel something subtly moving inside of you. The beating of your heart. So we have a couple of options. It's later than I planned. So I know some of you grabbed cushions, and I still want you to have the option to use them. But it is time for Shavasana. So if you just want to go into Shavasana or take like a last cooling pose, go for it. If you are like, I got all these pillows and I want to put them to good use, I'll show you what I had in store. So we have the option of a restorative pose, just a little bit of a heart opener. And so that's where I would recommend, if you have a blanket, something that is pretty skinny. It could also be a weird shaped pillow, to go underneath your spine. And I like having it not be so low on my back because that can feel kind of intense. So I usually put it at the bottom of my rib cage. That's what works for me. And then the other two pillows were to support the knees for a reclined Baddha Konasana. So that's what we were doing all those times like this. And even though your knees were maybe closer to the floor in that positioning, when we stay longer, we really want a lot of support. Like it might not even feel like a stretch, and that's actually great. At this point, I do recommend turning off the music just so that you can like totally calm. And find your way into comfort, into your breath, into this inner fluidity that's always happening. Even when you're at your tensest, the breath still flows, maybe not quite as nicely as it is right now, but it still flows. It reminds us what's possible. So for the past 80 minutes, you have been tuning in to this inner flow. And just see if you rest here, if it just feels a little closer to the surface. Like it's not separate from you, it is you. And it's the consciousness that's within you at all times. And so we'll just rest and allow ourselves to be nourished by this inner consciousness. Notice your next breath. Notice any ease or sense of effortlessness as it flows into and out of the body. And then let your next movements be an extension of that fluidity and lack of effort. Just natural, full of ease. Let yourself gently wake up, gently fill with consciousness. And eventually make your way out of Shavasana, perhaps by stretching, rolling to the side, whatever you prefer, but just take your time and feel the pathway, just as you felt your movements for our whole yoga class. Stay conscious.